Alrighty, hey there guys, Adrian DeCassi here, aka JetterBro95, coming at you guys with another video. So, I have yet to do one of these type of videos this year, and so I figure why not, let's do it now, because some people are making their abilities tier list and what they think are the best and what they need to change, and I'll touch on what I think are the best offensive and defensive abilities in this video, and then my next video in this, I'm going to talk about what I think should change, because there are some things with the current AP, with the current meta being literally just the most brain dead meta I've ever seen in my life, there are things that need to change. So I would probably look to touch on that in the next video. So before we do go into that, guys, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And if you guys could like the video as well, that would be great. Both things are very helpful in the algorithm, and both things keeping me push this video out for others. If you also could just leave your comments about what you think are what your favorite abilities are, and also what you think the best ones are. And if you could also let me know what you guys think should change in the next video. I might include it. I might not. I don't know. It depends on when I decide to record it. But leave a comment, guys. I'll be very happy to respond to you guys. So let's start off with the game with the offense. So we're always going to start off with the quarterback position, as it is the most important position on the field, and I don't think anybody would disagree with that. So right now, as you can see, I don't really get good abilities with Russ, right? So but obviously, Gunslinger, Pass Lead, any throwing ability could really help out. Set Feet Lead even really does make this game a lot easier to pass the ball in, and really does expose the coverage issues with zone coverage right now, because they don't quite move quick enough to get to their spots. That is something I didn't want to believe. I was just like, bro, what are you talking about? Zones are fine and shit like that. And then, you see people with like Set Feet Lead, and you start to notice it a little bit more, and it's just like, oh wow, they actually don't get to their spots as fast as they should, especially curl flats. Curl flats don't play the sideline enough frequently. Cloud flats are okay. Hard flats are very good. And then soft squats are a bit hit and miss. So, but I would say any throwing ability, obviously, things like Conductor, Hot Route Master, once those start coming into the game, those are going to be very sought after abilities overall. But obviously, right now, quarterback, there's not really a whole lot of quarterbacks to get a whole lot of good abilities. So moving on to running backs. Now, running backs, I've always said, are very archetype specific. Depends on the back you have. Do you have a power back like Marshawn Lynch? Well, I would recommend putting on things like Bulldozer. Armbar this year is actually very, very good. I would recommend putting on Armbar. Jukebox, I've heard, is some good things about. Backfield mismatch is pretty good if you have a good pass catching back. Running back apprentice is always great because you can get those Texas and those flat routes, which are both really good. Texas route is really good against man, and then the flat route is just one of the best check down routes in the game. So definitely look to put on running back apprentice if you have it. Tank is also one of the best abilities for power back in the game. Obviously, breaking all types of hit sticks, and you guys know a lot of people love they hit sticks, so it is what it is with that. Bruiser is a combination of both Bulldozer and Armbar, so if you want to save 1 AP, you definitely can. Goal line back, I wouldn't recommend, just because it is only within 5 yards of the end zone. If this was like 10, 15, 20 yards, if this was red zone back, for instance, work this into red zone back, I could see this being worth the 3 AP. Personally, getting stronger run blocking within 20 yards of the end zone, I could see it, but I'm just not really somebody who would prioritize that. But obviously, for other pass catching backs, if you can't get backfield mismatch, short and elite is pretty good. Marshawn Lynch gets short and elite for 1 AP in his special tier abilities. He also gets Bulldozer for 1 AP as well. So, but that's what I would say about running backs. Again, all archetype specific. Moving on to wide receivers. Now, obviously, for the wide receivers, we don't have things like route tech yet. We do have a couple of receivers that can get slot-o-matic, so that is a good one. But obviously, one of the best abilities, in my opinion, is Red Zone Threat. I think Red Zone Threat is very, very good this year. I have noticed it not work for me a little bit, but make no mistake, red zone threat to me is still one of the best, most underrated abilities in this game. The fact that people do not realize how good this ability is yet is quite striking to me. Um, it's literally, for me, when I had this, it was literally a snap and throw. If I saw a single coverage on the outside with Metcalf or Cortland Sutton or whoever I had flexed out wide, it was, if I saw a single coverage like a cover 3 or a cover 0 or cover 1 man or cover or whatever, it was literally snap throw, and it was out of my hands within a second, and just high point it, let Metcalf go make a play. There were times where the person would break it up. I actually had one time person actually, well, I've had a couple times where a person actually picked off my pass to my red zone threat. But make no mistake, more often than not, you're coming down with the ball, or at the very least, it's going to be a break up, which I think is still fine for the most part, but you know, it is what it is with that. Deep out is still very, very good this year. I, would say it probably needs to go up, but that's in another video. Definitely do like Deep Out Elite. I've heard some rumblings about Matchup Nightmare. I've had a couple people talk to me about it. I'm going to try it out. I don't necessarily know if it's good as it was last year, simply because of the fact that it is 2 AP this year, and compared to last year for physical wide receivers, it was 1 AP, so we'll have to wait and see about that. Slot-O-Matic, if you guys have a slot receiver, yeah, that is cool. The only problem I have with Slot-O-Matic is it is 4 AP on slot receivers, and then it's 5 AP on, I think everybody else. I can't remember. Just, I don't know how much it is on playmaker receivers. And then Route Tech this year is 6 AP on physicals. I think it's 4 AP on playmaker receivers. So obviously that's too high. I think, just a quick little sidebar, I think Route Tech should come down, especially with the meta being what it is now, but whatever. But obviously the additional hot routes like Outside Apprentice has had a very good year this year because of those because of those corner routes from the outside, those C routes as they're called, being able to cook man coverage consistently, getting a nice inside release, and then breaking out to the corner is breaking out for a corner route is really good. I'm rocking that on my DK Metcalf because I love those corners. But even then, those deep skinny posts are really, really good as well. Those comebacks are just by default on the outside. Deep skinny post. Those Poco routes, the post corner, can be good against man, depending if they're playing underneath. If they're shading underneath or shading a little bit too much to the inside, you can break it back out. Kind of like a little bit of a shorter corner route. And then the fade stop is just, it's just not that good. But that's what I would say about wide receivers, guys. Obviously, the best one is short and elite right now. It's crazy to me how this is acting like a route tech for receivers to separate in man coverage, but yet this is designed to be a catching ability. Like, this is just weird to me. This is designed as a catching ability, and yet people are using this as a route tech this year, which, I'll take it, like, at this point, because of the fact that man coverage is so insane right now. Short in is probably the best. It's just by far the best receiving ability in the game, and it's not close. Like, it's just, it is crazy how good short and elite is. But some other ones, like for the tier 1, persistent can be good in certain situations. If you really want to, if you get your players active in the zone quite a bit, it's pretty good. Recuperation, this one I would try out only if you have a spare AP. Like, for example, you have like 1 or 2 spare AP and you're just like, okay, well, let's just throw on a recuperation, because why not? Closer is okay. It's not the greatest, but it's okay. I like this on quarterbacks because you can get, for like, say, for example, like Gambit, for instance, you can get that in the second half for like 4 completions instead of 6, I believe is what it is on competitive. It's 6 on competitive, so it's like 4 on, and it's like 4 on the second half for it. And if you have the momentum where like players enter the zone easier, I think it goes down to 3. So like stacking this, with whatever. Homer is indoor baller if you're playing in a lot of homes in dome stadiums. definitely look to try this, but overall, I am not really too inclined to use the tier 1 slot all that much. I would, but I'm just not inclined to use it that much. So, offensive lineman, we'll go look at Mr. Zimmerman here. Obviously, in my opinion, right now, the best one is edge protector, giving you stronger pass protection against elite edge rushers. But the problem is the fact that this only works against edge threat. If you don't have somebody that, if you're having somebody that's going up against, if you don't have an opponent that's using edge threat at all, this ability is literally a waste. This is literally a waste of 3 or 2 AP, depending on the player. And so, realistically speaking, I just don't think it's worth the AP. Now, I personally like Lifeguard. I took it off right now because I'm using different abilities, but Lifeguard right now is a very, very good ability. Gives increased resistance to swim, club, pass rush moves. So if you're going up against a lot of people that love to use those power rushes on the outside or wherever, like the swim club, or the spin, or the spin club, I should say. I didn't realize it was spin club, not swim. I think this is a typo. Yeah, this is a typo because this is spin pass rush for unspun, and then this is spin slash club. So this is a typo. It should be swim slash club. But a lot of those edge threats will look to use that specifically. So personally, I like it because of that. For that instance, but overall, like 1 AP right now, I have a lot of abilities elsewhere. So hopefully, I can probably look to add them back. Well, maybe with the next AP update, I'll look to add in a couple of offensive lineman abilities because I do like my O-line abilities. I really do, especially this year with pass rush and disengages and sheds being pretty high. Also, another one that I like to get is Identifier. I would only get this on Agile Lineman because it is 2 AP on them. Or, well, for regular Agile Lineman. There are players that get, like, discounted Identifiers. I think there is one that gets it for 0 AP, which, that's sad that is a discounted ability, but whatever. I mean, like, Identifier is pretty good. Post up, obviously, if you got, like, a good center, I would recommend putting on a post up. Having one on your center is great for those inside runs, just to double team the nose tackle and get a little bit of extra space. And then, obviously, if you have enough for 2, put them on your guards. And then if you have 3, well, you can get all 3 here. You can get like a decent amount of time, especially if the person is only rushing about 2 or 3. But I would honestly recommend only 1 because it is like 2 AP on certain linemen and it's 3 on a lot more. So, moving on to defense though, guys, we're going to do this all in one video. I'm not going to break it up into 2 videos just because I just don't want to. So we'll start with pass rushers, and honestly, the best pass rushing ability this year is without a doubt edge threat. Dominant pass rush moves from the edge. Getting those wins, especially against somebody who doesn't have edge protector, you're going to be generating a lot of pressure. Actually, I shouldn't say it's by far the best because there is under pressure. It is also very, very good as well. And there are people who can get it for 1 AP, which is disgusting when you really think about it. It is just gross, the fact that some people can get 1 AP under pressure, and yet the ability to counter that is like 3-4 AP for Fearless, which is just insane. But edge threat, really good ability. Obviously, under pressure is pretty solid as well. Unpredictable, I have not seen do very much work this year. I have him on my John Randall. I probably will look to cut it because I just don't think it's doing very good overall. Other abilities, that I think could be really good, Out My Way. But man, I wouldn't put it on a pass rusher at all, personally. If you want to utilize some of these pass rush moves, I would recommend that if you are going to use some of these pass rush moves, you look on mutt.gg and see if they actually use the move in question, like a spin, swim, club, or a ripper, or a rip through. Because if they don't use those type of moves, if you go to add this onto them, they're never going to use that ability. They're never going to use that pass rush move. So there's really no point in wasting an AP on a rip move on Ripper if they're not going to, if their pass rushing moves don't use rip throughs. So I would recommend if you're going to go ahead and do that. Obviously the same for Speedster with speed rushes. So that's how I feel about Pass rushers, obviously, inside stuff is still very good on like DT, the run stopping DTs. I have one. I'm thinking I might put a second, to be completely honest. But for users, like linebackers, obviously, Lurker is king on linebackers. It is a must-have if you're going to have a linebacker out there in coverage. Which I don't think linebackers are bad this year. It's just right now, for me personally, I cannot afford space for a good linebacker, so partly because I just don't have the coins. And at the time when we were recording this video, I don't have the Hispanic Heritage promo has not dropped yet. So you'll probably see this video on Friday, the 7th of October, which, then, the Hispanic Heritage month will come out and I'll probably have those Hispanic Heritage players. But yeah, Lurker, definitely something I would recommend you have on your team. Another one that I've been seeing a lot of people talking about, making a little bit of rumblings on, is tip drill. A lot of people are talking about tip drill right now, myself included. I think tip drill is pretty good at this moment because defensively, you just cannot catch a tip pick. But if you got tip drill, it seems like they're coming down with it a lot more. Now, is it consistent? I don't know. I haven't played it with it that much. But rest assured that I am going to continue to try tip drill out. Going to see how it plays. And obviously, see if I can prevent one or two more ags, because if I can pick off those interceptions, those ags, can a little bit more with tip drill that get broken up, then obviously that's going to be a huge win for my defense, because obviously, it is what it is. I can't really, you can't stop, you can try and stop ags, but eventually they'll get at least like one or two, and there's a way you can actually get it to where you can successfully ag somebody every single time, which I think is just mind-blowing to me, but whatever. Like, that's just a different conversation. But other abilities I would recommend, Flat Zone KO is obviously really, really good. Flat Zone KO, especially on your slot corners, if they're playing if you're playing a lot of cover 3, if you're playing a lot of cover 4, hell, even cover 2, this works pretty well with the vert hooks or the a regular hook zone. Flat Zone KO seems to be lighting up pretty well. So I would recommend Flat Zone. Mid zone depends on what you do for your defense. I've seen it light up on deep throws, which is why I have a deep zone KO, a mid zone KO on Quandre Diggs. Just until I can get a deep out zone KO. But yeah, so mid zone KO is okay. Flat zone KO, I really do think is pretty good. Is it better than last year? No. Last year's flat zone KO was incredibly good. Pick Artist is also another one I would recommend to try. Guaranteed better catching and stamina on interceptions returns. I think it should be 1 AP. I honestly think it should be 0 AP with the way this game is playing right now, with everybody just chucking ags up and doing all shit of that nature. I think that should be 0 AP. Same with Tip Drill. I have it on Tariq Woolen and Sidney Jones. I think Tip Drill should be 0 AP personally, and you should move it to Tier 1 EA Sports, but we're talking too much about what I think needs to change for AP. We'll touch on that when we get there for the next video. And then obviously kickers and special teams, Zen kicker, precision, like all the kicking abilities are good. Like, it don't matter if it's clutch kicker, precision kicker, focused. They split up focus kicker this year. So like Zen kicker is over 45 yards, and then focused is up to 45 yards. So 45 yards and above, like 44, it works. But like 46 yards, it doesn't. So that's when you need Zen. So personally, I just use precision and clutch kicker just to, see the kicking arc and being able to not get iced. So but that is what I would recommend for abilities, guys. What I think are the best. If you do disagree, obviously let me know. One last one I'm going to recommend is obviously, not just Slot Apprentice, but Tight End Apprentice. Getting the crossers, getting the posts. It's like Slot Apprentice, but lined up at the tight end spot. So do what you do with that. But that is going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy. Like button below if you guys did, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And also leave a comment on what you guys think are the best abilities in Madden 23 right now, guys. But with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out.